Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay. Um, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to put my ears on for you. Okay. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can. And you?
Okay, good. Yep. Yep. Say something.
Okay.
Okay,
I can
good.
hear you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. Let's give it about 5 minutes so that as people joining, we can see. But it's good to have you here, Regina.
I am very happy to be here and to have this
Yeah.
opportunity. This is awesome. I just got to make sure I got you. Yeah, I got you. Okay. Um, yes. Can you? Oh, I don't see you no more.
There I am.
Okay,
I'm
there
not
you
sure
are.
what
Okay.
happened. Today it's not picking up cover. Um, it's not picking up both sides.
Yeah, I don't know. It says, oh, there we
And
go. Okay. All
yeah, I don't know if
right.
it's better or this is better. One of them.
I didn't realize there was a trick here for that. No, I did not realize.
That was okay. Hi, everyone. Good to have you here. Thank you so
It is,
much for joining in.
yes, it's good to be here, Ivy, and thank you for having me. This is a treat and it's an honor.
Yeah, thank you. Me too. I think I'm very excited to have this discussion with you. I think
Yes,
having pain to purpose is a very interesting discussion. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to hearing from you and to hearing your story. Hi,
oh, yeah.
everyone. Thank you so
Good
much for tuning
morning.
in. We see you. We see you. Please just chat us, tell us where you're from, where you're watching from. I still have my other gadgets, so I'll be able to see your other chats in different ways. So, but thank you so much for joining in. Share with your friends. We're talking about
Yes,
pain, moving from pain to purpose, which is very, very important.
yes.
Yeah, awesome. So, in 2 minutes, we are starting.
That's awesome. Yes, thank you everyone for coming. I wanted to share it with my page, but I'm not sure um, how I liked your page and I did give them the link. So that's good. So hopefully, yeah, hopefully
Yeah,
they're tuned in. But I
yeah.
will share the playback.
Okay, good, good. So also, yeah, if you're on Facebook, also you can basically also share from my page to your page. You're able to.
Yeah, I can go on. Well, you know what? Is I think when you're on both cameras, it doesn't let you when you're doing it.
Yeah, no worry, no
Yes,
worry. We'll do that later. Okay, so let's
yes,
start. Thank you everyone for coming in. This is Ivy Silvata from the Incubator and S Hub. I mean, it's wonderful again, another Tuesday to see you all. Thank you for everyone who's
yes.
joining us through Facebook. Thank you for everyone who's on YouTube. We see you. Thank you so much for coming in. I really, really appreciate you all. Today we have a very, very wonderful guest, Regina Hall. I mean, her name is beautiful. So as she is. So
Thank you, thank you.
learn as much as possible. So Regina will be talking about moving from pain to passion. And I'm very interested in this topic because we go through a lot of pain. How do we move
Yeah,
from pain to passion? Right now, we have COVID. How do we move from the pain of losing jobs, losing people, losing our family members? How do we move that from purpose? And also, you remember we one day we actually talked about purpose, and I'll want to hear Regina talking about really what is this purpose that you're talking about? How do you discover this purpose? Do we all know what our purpose is? I think I know, but today I want to be refined more and understand. So, Regina Hall, welcome.
thank you so much, Ivy. And I just want to just let you know how much I appreciate the opportunity and the work that you're doing. It just attracted me just to
Yeah.
see how you are pouring into others and just showing up in a special way in their lives. And so really I think I was listening to one of your airings and you said, I believe this is my purpose. Yes, this is your purpose. And you told your story about the difficulties and then finally identifying your business. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
still? Yeah, okay,
I
good.
can hear. Yeah.
Yes, so I was just so excited about you sharing your story and how you finally moved into what you're doing and then the excitement that you're having from it. Uh, anything that we say that we want to do and we do it with our hearts
Yeah.
and we don't even have to get paid for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a purpose right there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I just want to say how we met with Regina Hall. I was in a discussion somewhere. I'd been invited to talk about global business with Tonya, a very good friend of mine that I met in Egypt. Then Regina Hall was there asking questions about Kenya and said, you know what? I want to have this discussion with the people of Kenya. I want to pour out my heart and say what I have learned and what I know, you know. And I kept on looking at her, I'm thinking, this is my passion. I mean, we do this every Tuesday. We don't ask for any money, but we want to envision and to make sure that people are learning as much as possible. So that's how we met Regina. And I said, you know, let's have this show and let's see what we can
Yes,
do, impact we can have. And we're going to be talking about moving from pain to purpose. Regina, what made you actually talk about pain to purpose? Is there a story behind it?
yes, it is. I wrote a book, and my book is called Mommy, I Need You. Do you hear me okay? Because I hear feedback.
Yes, I
Okay, good.
hear you.
Okay, good. I wrote a book. My book is called Mommy, I Need You. And the purpose of my book was to share the sexual abuse I had suffered at the hands of a next door neighbor, but to also encourage women to get involved in the lives of other women. But there were other pain points in my life as well, rejection, family bickering, all of that impacted my life. And so just God healing me and dealing with my heart and showing me that I really didn't know him, that I saw God as angry and distant and isolated from me, as if I couldn't reach him. So I started reading my Bible and talking to God. But if anyone would have told me, Ivy, that God was going to give me an extreme makeover, I would have told God, no, no, I don't want this pain. This is too much. But I stayed in the process. God worked on my heart. And the lessons that I learned was your pain that you've suffered, that's where your purpose is. That's where I found my purpose, to be able to speak and teach and train people in God's word and about God's healing. Also, to train about seeing you because I was hidden from myself. I couldn't see my talents, my gift. I couldn't see that I was lovable, worthy of love. And now I see those things. And that doesn't mean that there are days where we don't struggle. It's a journey. But what it means that I have the tools, and I'm equipped to fight because God equipped me with the tools. That's what I tell people. He equipped me. He sent the people that needed to play the role in my healing process. And I still have relationships with them. And the ones that I don't, they are forever etched in my mind of how they poured their love into me during that season. So that's really how I moved from pain to purpose. A lot of forgiving, a
Yeah,
lot of healing, a lot of crying, and
yeah.
a lot of getting over stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting, Regina, what you say. Pain, you feel the pain. the pain hurts. You actually see the people. It's actually the purpose to actually letting go. That's when you start moving away from pain. And I think most of us identify because apart from just the pain that you've talked about, we have different pains. Rejection is part of the pain that we all go through at some point. So, how did you get to a point where now you discover what your purpose is and you began moving from pain? You said forgiveness, but what else did you do? Because sometimes when you're in pain, you want to stay where you are at because it's comfortable.
Yes, it's well, let me tell you, it's comfortable, but it is still devastating. You can take things so personally. When people say just a little something to you, you can allow that to grow and fester in your heart. And so for me, as painful as it was to be where I was, I didn't want to stay there. And when God was taking me through the healing process, I said to him, like Job, though you slay me, yet would I serve you. And I determined to stay in it. So that's what happened for me, that I determined that I needed to go on the other side. You know, we read about there's milk and honey on the other side. We read about there's breath on the other side. And so it was. I had to forgive the perpetrator. I had my mom who didn't believe me, my dad who didn't believe that I had been sexually abused. I had to forgive them. It was so much forgiving. I had to understand that me forgiving and letting go and it untethered them from me. I had to also understand that my mom and my dad, they did the best they could. They had their own pain stories. See, that's what we don't understand sometimes is that people, they help us where they are, and that's where they were. And when I began to understand that, I began to understand I had to forgive them and honor my mother and my father. Well, honoring my mother and my father meant that I would love them in spite of them not protecting me, and that God was going to take care of me and move me to where I needed to go. That was a hard lesson, Ivy. So, learning hard lessons in the midst of your situations, but learning because you will grow. I grew in perseverance, I grew in character, I grew in love, I grew in hope. And I saw that God had brought an army of people around me to help me. I didn't do it by myself.
Amazing, amazing. I like what you're saying. Regina, from the pain that you've had, where are you today? You're a speaker, you're the trainer, you're a coach. Tell us more. I could even read your bio because you have achieved so much. Tell us who you are.
Yeah, so today I love that. And what I love to say is, Ivy, what I was yesterday, I'm even different from today.
Yes.
Okay. So, who I am today is helping women to see themselves. I like to be known as Exhale, the number one Exhale transformational speaker, trainer, and coach. And I refer to myself as Exhale with Regina. And so what that means is that when people are in pain, and you mentioned there's so much pain all over the world, we are literally in a pandemic dealing with the coronavirus. People are in pain. We have an opportunity to spread hope and love and to come alongside people. And it's difficult to be in pain. It's difficult to hurt. You can't really ignore that. So where I am now is helping people in those pain points, uh, and knowing that it's a walk, and knowing that everyone isn't ready. I love what you said earlier. Everyone is not ready, so you have to meet people where they are. So that's where I am now. And also I'm a John Maxwell speaker, trainer, and coach. I help in businesses and organizations, small businesses. corporate. It allows me to speak uh, about listening skills, the ability to help people where they are, even on their jobs, to help people to look at what's blocking them, what are the barriers. I love that. And then watching God helping me to go deeper and see it. And so that's where I am now,
Yeah. Yeah.
helping people to move and see themselves more clearly. So whatever is hidden, we can shine the light on it. But you have to be ready for that.
Yeah. Yeah, amazing, amazing. Because you keep on saying, I like what you keep on repeating. You want people to be able to see themselves. Now,
Yes.
as women, we hardly see ourselves in the same mirror. If I look at myself, I'll see myself as maybe not have achieved and compare ourselves. How do we move ourselves from that point? Because it's a very common issue with us women to compare ourselves, to think that we are either too thin or too thick for life, and especially in the industry where you're working in, especially in the marketplace. How do we move from
Yes. That's a great question, Ivy. One that I even had to do, because
there?
you do compare yourself. But comparison, when you compare yourself to others, you're looking at your negatives, like you said. You
Yeah.
don't see your gifts, your talents, your abilities.
Mhm.
And the thing is, God has equipped everyone with a talent. We are equipped with gifts. So we have to be willing to tap into our gifts and see it as valuable. But the thing is, we have to see that we are interconnected, that your gift I can draw from, and we're better together than apart. So we live in a society that compares women. I don't know, I can speak for America. We live in a society that does a lot of comparing. And even growing up, I can remember running to my mom and saying to her, I can shake my hair. I can shake my hair because the big thing on television when I was growing up is the ability for women to shake their hair back and forth. You grow up feeling a certain way, even as an African American woman. Embracing who I am, it has been a journey. But I encourage us to get on the journey, see the gifts of other people, not as a strike against us, but a blessing that we can utilize.
Mm.
And then they can utilize our talents. I see my talents now. I see that I'm a speaker. I see that I have the ability to encourage, to exhort. That's one of my gifts.
Mm.
The way we can also find out about our gifts, there are many assessments that are out there that we can take to find out about our gifts. Talk to people about what they see in you. I have a friend, she's on, her name is Erica, Erica Monk. And my sister come alongside me where whatever chance she get. And we we are preachers together and we exhort one another. But she'll tell me about my gift. I'll tell her about her gift. I think that's another thing, Ivy. Women have to encourage each other more instead of tearing each other down.
I mean, Regina, you've said very powerful words today. I mean, I'll just read a bit of comments that we have. One of them is from my good friend Natalie Mpesha. Yes, comparing ourselves to others is so easy to do and can make you feel inadequate. I like that you
Yes.
emphasize that we all have unique gifts, and we'll be talking about unique gifts. And I think, Regina, it's what she's saying is so very true. Because also in Kenya is the same thing. There's a lot of comparison, and it's all over. We compare each other, and you look at how far the person has gone and where you are at, and this is what you think that you're inadequate. But how, again, I always ask myself, how do you find your unique gifts? You say there are a lot of tests. What else could people do to find their own unique gifts so that they're not able to compare themselves?
One of the assessment we do is DISC. It helps you to look at 4 areas, and actually more than that, but it breaks down by assessing your personality. And it can tell you some things about yourself. There are other strength assessments that you can just Google. And they can give you some insights into your spiritual gifts. They can give you this also has a spiritual gift component that you can find out about yourself. There are so many that are out there that you can do these assessments. And again, Ivy, you can tell too what you're passionate about, because the Bible also says where your treasures are, that's where your heart is, right?
Yes.
So what motivates and move you? If you enjoy helping others, if you have the gift of helping, I believe that we both have a gift of helping, but look how you're utilizing your gift, and look how I'm utilizing my gift. So tapping into, do you like to communicate with people? Are you good at debating? I was talking to a friend the other day, and she's great at organizing. She said, but I don't really know what to do with that. I began to share with her, you can start with me. And just not organizing somebody's office. She does it on a structural level in leadership. And I began to talk with her about her gift, of how she can utilize that. And we had such an uplifting conversation. Talk to someone. You can receive coaching, but get in touch with who you are. There's so many ways of looking at yourself, but you have to be willing to stop criticizing yourself. And please let us women stop saying, I want to be like you, or you're so powerful, I wish my life was. That's not good. And I've said that myself at one time in my life. Now I try to encourage myself to say, okay, tell me how you do this, because I want to learn. That's so much different, right? Tell me how you do this because I want to learn how to do this. That's a different conversation than me telling you that when I grow up, I want to be like you, or me telling you, I wish I can do that, because I'm not going to learn from you. I'm not going to tap into you if I say that. I'm going to walk away feeling like I got to do something to get what you have when you already have it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Regina, you keep on challenging me a lot, because one of the things we do as women, and even as myself, is to not look at what our strengths are or what is good about us, and concentrate on what others are. And you want to say, I want to be like you. And it's a common statement we make, not I want to learn from you. But at what point do we become vulnerable and accept to be challenged? Because that's another thing. We are very sensitive as women not to hear that. If you tell me my hair looks bad, I won't want to laugh at you again, you know? But how do we begin to, to put ourselves being vulnerable, to be coached, to be given feedback? Because that's exactly, I'm sure for you and Erica, that's the kind of relationship you have. How do you get to that point?
That's an excellent question. And I have to tell you, with tears, sometimes when people have said things to me, I have felt very hurt and
Mm,
walked away wounded.
mm,
And so you have to want to deal with yourself.
mm,
And so, what I'm about to say right now is that oftentimes we don't want to deal with ourselves.
mm.
We want to see ourselves as perfect.
Absolutely.
We want to see ourselves as all together.
Mm,
So, one of the things that you can do is that you can get with a trusted person, one person that you really trust,
mm.
and sit down and talk to them and become vulnerable with
Yeah.
that one person that you can trust, who is not going to take advantage of you or walk over you.
Mm,
They can help hold you accountable. I have an accountability partner and we walk together.
mm,
I have shared my hurts and pains. And even this past Sunday, when she and I had a conversation, I was able to say, okay, I'm in my feelings right now. And I feel like I'm being a little immature, but let me walk through my immaturity right now because I am going to get over to the other side. And we laughed. That was vulnerable.
mm.
Being transparent, you can start with one person. The hardest thing to learn is don't build walls. As women, and Ivy, what really is embracing for me right now in this conversation with us
Mm,
is that you stay in Kenya, Africa, and you are experiencing the same exact things that
mm.
I am experiencing as a woman in America. You see how connected we are?
Absolutely.
And if you are experiencing that in Kenya, and I am experiencing that in the United States, that tells us we are not alone. And that's what we have to see too. We're not alone in this,
Mm,
that we built people up and we make them perfect and we built them up against who we are.
mm.
That we have to stop engaging in those conversations in our mind and in our heart. So, the next thing, in order to make ourselves vulnerable, is to know that we're going to get hurt. Hurt is a part of the process. And you know what's so interesting? You already been hurt. So you know what hurt looked like.
Absolutely.
So what we can do to come out of that is to begin to see people. And this is what my mentor John Maxwell taught me, is to put a 10 on everybody's head. That was difficult for me to accept, to put a 10 on everybody's head when I know that people can hurt you, take advantage of you. But when I started seeing a 10 on people's head, I started to understand that yes, I'm going to meet people who are opportunists. Yes, those people are out there, but it's going to help me to attract, because that's that law of attraction, people who I want to attract in my life when I stop building walls. Building walls harm us every time.
Wow. Regina, let me tell you, I remember a story from when I started the business in 2020. I had this partner that I said, you know what, I knew that he was very good. I knew he had potential. And I said, yo, let come in. I love giving people platforms for free because I like,
Yes,
making sure that, I can gather as much and learn as much. And as more as many people understand what we are doing and they get as much as they're doing, I don't mind. For me, it's the people make sure the people are actually doing well in their businesses as the
yes,
incubator. And I gave the platform, and he took advantage of the platform. And so at some point, I had to say, you know what, I need to get you out of this because it's going to harm everyone. But I realized that I couldn't put walls because I took a break a bit, I mean, from working with people because of the hurt that was going on. But I realized
Yeah.
also you can't put a wall because if you put a wall, then you keep on being constrained in one place and you will never
Yes.
grow.
Never, because you limit yourself.
Yeah,
That's a difficult lesson to learn.
yeah,
So I tell our listeners and myself and Ivy, that's a journey.
yeah.
That's taking those steps to say, I got hurt,
Yep.
I feel bad. As a matter of fact, if I could beat you up, I would, but I'm going to keep growing in spite of you. And I
Yeah.
remember when Oprah Winfrey,
Mm,
she said that she would run after guys,
mm,
that she would even be outside their home, not understanding her self worth. And now, this is when she first started. She said, look at me now.
mm.
And that was true.
Yeah.
That and one of the things I'm able to even share with my daughter that Oprah was saying is that I'm worthy. I tell
Mm.
my daughter, you're worthy. You're worthy. Don't build walls. Yeah, don't build walls. But that's
Yeah.
not easy. That's not
Yeah.
easy, Ivy.
Oh, at all. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not because we are wired as women to feel. We have feelings. So
Yes.
anything that comes in, we actually take it so badly. I mean, if we lose a business deal, if we lose money, if we have someone talking to us badly, we tend to actually close up. And I think it's something we see when you're working with the women entrepreneurs. We see them every time they're doing very well in their businesses. If they have a challenge in their marriage, the business crumbles. So it becomes a
Mm.
very hard thing to see how to balance. But let me read a few comments then as we go
Sure.
on. Yeah, yeah. So Lisa says, Amen. Iron sharpens iron. I so agree with you.
Yes.
Erica,
Hi, Lisa.
Erica says, yes, mom. Nothing sweeter than the bond between two sisters in Christ who love Jesus. Amen and amen. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Natalie again says, talking to friends and family in what they see in me has really helped me in identifying my gifts. And that's a great tip. But again, as we said, you have to learn to be vulnerable. You have to learn to take it also positively because that's the only way you're going to grow. I mean,
Yes.
amazing discussions you're having. We also have
Yes.
Lisa again saying, I mean, hello, my sister.
Hello, Lisa. Thanks for joining.
Lucy is saying we build walls after having been hurt, betrayed, and lose trust. Absolutely.
Yes.
It's
Absolutely.
yeah.
How
Yeah. Go on. Sorry, Regina. Go on.
Yeah. However, I just want Lucy to know that the easiest thing to do is to build a wall. The
Mm,
hardest thing to do is to tear that wall down.
mm,
That's a hard thing to do. But it's
yeah.
easy to build walls. It's
Yeah.
easy to crawl up in our hurt, our pain, and talk about how we've been betrayed
Yeah.
and tell people that we are not going to allow people to hurt us anymore. But we're living in the rear view mirror.
Mm,
I had to learn that. I was living in the rear view mirror. When we live in the rear view mirror, it's about the past, not the present.
absolutely.
That was a hard lesson, though, Ivy. Hear me clearly, ladies and gentlemen. What we are saying is not an easy walk.
Mm,
It's a hard walk,
mm,
but anything easy, it'll go fast, right? But those
yeah.
things that are hard, they'll stay with us because they're building something in
Yeah.
us. They're
Yeah.
building character, they're building love, they're opening up our hearts to
Yeah.
opportunities.
Yeah.
But it can take your breath away. And I believe that's why I call it Exhale with Regina, because
Mm,
you got to be willing to take those breaths. And I love what you said, Ivory. You had to take a break.
mm,
Sometimes we have to take a break.
absolutely.
and get back in the game. But
Yeah.
get in the game.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, for me, my motto is you have to keep on moving. And when
yes,
you need to stop, stop and just take it easy and breathe in. I like that. I'll be using exhale now, but breathe
yes.
in and just stay there at some point and get yourself together and move on, because going backward is more expensive than moving forward. You have to keep on moving to get to your purpose. Just one question from Lucy. I see. Why does love, family, heart affect other areas of our lives, work, and business?
Yeah, why does love, family, hurt affects other areas of our lives, work and business? Well, that's a good question, Lucy. And I believe the reason is because our families are the ones that can trigger the things in us. They know us more than anybody.
Yeah.
And also, it's the positions that we have given them in our lives. What
Mm,
position does your family have in your life? And, Ivy, this may be a culture difference too. Um,
mm,
what position do we give families? I
mm,
know for me, when I was going through my healing process, I had to step away from my mom and my dad for a minute, because God was working on me. I had to step away from them and deal with the fact that they had failed to protect me in this area. They had failed.
mm,
And that was very painful to
mm,
go through. So for a minute, I stepped away from my mom and my dad, but then I reunited. I forgave. And what was interesting is that God told me I needed to apologize to my mother for things that I had said to her, because he needed me to respect her as being just that, my mother.
mm,
And I questioned God. I was like, no, I would not apologize. No, I am the one hurting. I'm the one dealing with this. But I had no idea that God was saying to me, go and apologize,
mm.
and your blessings will be greater because you are honoring your mom for who she is. Once I did that, I also saw that my mom had her own story. I had to learn that people who are hurting hurt people.
Mm,
And sometimes we give people, even in family, we give them a position that they're not even able to handle themselves.
mm,
We have to put people, for me, I
mm.
had to give my mom and my dad a proper place. And I have to say that I have to love myself. It's not like you're not going to have problems. I'm married. We have problems.
Yeah.
I go through things, but I'm worthy of love. And I've said that. And I
Mm,
carry myself like that in my home too. I'm worthy of love.
mm,
But God deals with people too.
mm.
Prayer is big for me.
Yep.
And I've watched God change my heart. I watched God change my husband's heart. I watched God change my daughter's heart. I watched God change my heart. What? Well, who did I say twice? Me. Because I have to be willing to deal with me. Am I
Mm,
setting appropriate boundaries? We use words like codependent. Am I codependent on them? We have to look at that.
mm,
That codependency is trying to fix their lives when my life is the one need fixing. And so we allow people to abuse us and do things to us over and over, even family.
yeah.
So putting people in a proper place, we have to do that. And we're worthy of doing that.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Amazing. I mean, I'm sure you're wondering why are we talking about pain and purpose? At the incubator, Nesta, but one thing I've kept on saying, if we can ever be the best leaders or entrepreneurs if we don't deal with self, it starts with
No,
self.
It starts
Sometimes
with self.
the money issue is not the customer's issue, it's the self. And that's why every first week of the month, from now on, we'll be dealing with the self. We'll be talking about things that affect us women leaders or women entrepreneurs that make us not move away from that. And one of them is pain, as you said. If you have an unknown pain or you keep on going, looking back, it will always stop you from getting yourself to your greatest purpose or your greatest business idea, always. So
Yes.
yourself is the most important thing as a leader right now where you are at. And I don't know, maybe just add on it, Regina. Why do you think people need to start understanding themselves? Because that is most critical, especially for women leaders and women entrepreneurs. Why is it important for them to know themselves and to know where they're going?
Yes, that's a very good question. Let
Yeah.
me say this to that question first. I knew myself
Mhm.
when I started learning about who God was. The more I learned about God, the more I learned about me because He made me,
Yeah.
He created me. That's not everybody's journey. But I had to say that because I began to strip away things that people had said about me, they had thought about me because I was a person who spoke my mind. I was seen as aggressive. I was seen as a big mouth, uh, and I hated those angry people. Saw me as angry. I hated that. God didn't see me that way. Okay, He didn't. He made me with those type of strengths. And I began to reframe and redefine because men are not called angry when they're assertive or when they stand up for the things that they're compassionate about. How come women can't do that?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, though, women can be the worst enablers of behaviors. So, learning things about ourselves, when we understand who we are, our strengths, you said that earlier, Ivy, when
Yeah.
we understand our weaknesses, when we understand what we think about women, we understand too, maybe we're thinking that about ourselves. When we have a critical spirit, what are we critical about ourselves? How are we critical about ourselves? So you have to be willing to understand those things about you, but you have to be also willing to see the beauty in you. You know, I told one client yesterday because she told me that she didn't like her face at all. I said, well, let's start with what you do like. Let's start with what you do like.
Yeah.
And she was able to say what she do like. And so we built from there. And then she named something else she liked. Before we got off of that phone, yes, off of the video, you can see the change, the uplift
Yeah.
in her. We have to see the beauty in us, but we have to see the beauty.
Yep.
And that may be talking to other women who don't mind sharing about who we are. I can tell you right now, I don't get to see Lisa much and I don't get to see Erica much, but I know that those two women, they all about building up another woman. So I know I can be built. And I am. Even on Facebook, when we talk to one another, we say things to one another to build and not destroy. I don't get to see them much now, particularly during the pandemic, but we build one another. Women have to be willing to build one another, Ivy.
Yeah.
Um, and so we have to slow down,
Mhm.
be willing to look at ourselves in a mirror. And for me, is to recognize that God made us and nobody else. We are not man driven, we are God given. That's a difference.
That's the difference.
That's the difference. We're
Yep.
made fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yep.
My
Absolutely.
husband has a saying. He says, blessed by the best. He took that from somebody and now it's his brand.
Mhm.
He says, blessed by the best. And people give him now, Ivy, BBTB. They
Wow.
give, he had masks that says BBTB because he has coined that as the way he lived his life, that he's blessed by the best.
Wow.
BBTB.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. As we just finalize, there's a question from Natalie. What would you advise a friend who is always living in the review mirror? You want to be supportive and acknowledge their heart, but at the same time, you know the only way for them to move forward is to forgive and let go.
Well, Natalie, I'm sure that you have advised that friend, right? Because when we care about our friends, we have advised them to come out of it ourselves.
Mm.
I would encourage you because, as one pastor told me, it's time for deliverance.
Mm.
It's time for that person to probably get some counseling, to get with a trusted um, counselor or coach, pastor who can help walk them through the steps of that. Sometimes, as friends, uh, our friends, it's difficult for them to listen to us. It
Mm.
may be easier for them to listen to someone else. The other thing, what I would tell you is to walk with your friend.
Mm.
Don't let it overtake you, but walk with your friend
Yep.
because we have to meet people where they are.
Mm.
And when people are ready, they'll come out of it, but they have to be willing and ready. And I know that from experience of walking with some friends who were in a lot of pain. I stayed available as I could. When it got overwhelming for me, I'll take a step back, but I would call and check on them. I would let them know I love them. I would let them know I'm present for them. We can go out and eat, but they couldn't let the conversation go. And sometimes we don't have any patience either. That's hard to constantly listen to something over and over and over and over. And you know that person's stuck and they just can't let it go. That's hard. And so you do have to know when you can and when you can't.
Mm.
But one thing I have learned that that's deliverance. That person needs deliverance.
Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. I love that answer. Thank you so much. From Maureen
Yes.
says, recognizing and processing pain is usually a good start. I agree with you,
Yes.
just echoing what you've said. Very true. I like what
Yes.
Lisa said. I mean, just echoed what you've said. We are both man given, but God driven.
Yes.
That purpose. I mean, Lisa, you have just described what purpose is. I mean, we must be God driven. Purpose is God driven most of the time. And maybe Regina, as we wrap up, we're just about to have 5-10 minutes to do that. What would you say is the greatest way for women to be good leaders? I know leadership is a big topic, and we will
Yes.
discuss even after how what next and how we can tag this thing over to another discussion. But what really do women need to be good leaders?
Yes, that's a great question, Ivy. Thank you for that question. This is what I would say.
Mhm.
First, we have to understand what leadership is,
Yeah.
right? Leadership is all about influence
Mhm.
in a nutshell. It's how we influence the character, the development,
Mm.
and how we impact others. That's leadership.
Yeah.
Understand that we are leaders as mothers,
Mm.
we are leaders as siblings, we are leaders in our community. See, leadership is norm or leaders are often looked at as a position. It's not. It's a being. It's who you are.
Mm.
Everybody has the ability to influence someone else.
Yeah.
When you think about a sibling and the mother say, "Why did you
Mm.
encourage your sibling to do that?"
Mm.
That sibling had influence.
Yeah.
We have the ability to influence others' lives.
Yep.
A way to be a good leader is to know what you value.
Mm.
Understand what you value. Do not, we have to be careful not to compromise our values and
Mm.
what we stand for. Stand for what you stand for. That is not the easiest thing to do, but we have to stand for what we stand for and center ourselves around others who are like minded and who are doing that.
Mm.
I would say start with those things, but we can never forget that we have to start with self.
Absolutely. You know, I like what you said, Regina. I had to write it down because I want to remember it. Leadership is not a position. And most of
No.
the time, we look at leadership as a position you're going to get somewhere else. But it starts within ourselves, in our homes, being a good mother, good sister, good be,
Yes,
are. We just have to be good leaders, and that's how it starts. But when you start looking at it as a position, then that's where we miss it most of the time. So
that's
for
where we
me,
miss it.
take away, leadership is not a position. Wherever you find yourself, you're a leader in your office, you become a leader in your office. In your home, you're still a leader in your office.
You're
Thank you so
still a
much.
leader.
Yeah, I mean, Regina, you have an amazing masterclass you do. And trust you me, we are bringing this masterclass in Kenya because we want as many women, as many, even if you want to call them men, it's fine. We'll have them, I'm sure, Regina, to
Yes.
join in the masterclass. Tell me more about your masterclass.
Okay. What I do
Yeah.
is that I try to work with the organization and figure out what are their pain points. So whatever the pain points are. When it
Mm.
comes to women, what I have noticed that our pain points are comparing ourselves to others. We are big on looking at our inadequacies. We are big on uh, trying to fix others. Those are areas that we can be big on.
Yeah.
Those are things I have noticed.
Yeah.
So the master class will really focus on building self confidence, self acceptance,
Mm.
and understanding we are on a journey. So we
Mm.
look at those pain points to move us into the purposes that we say. And also, hopefully, in the class, the hope is that women will connect with other women,
Yeah.
that we will see the skills that we have
Yeah.
and connect with one another to build up one another. And definitely to know, because Ivy, um, I love the fact that when I heard you speak, you said it's all about building relationship. It's
Yeah.
all about building relationship. It's building relationship,
Mm.
even in a master class.
Yeah.
We have to build relationship. So really, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Building those relationships and moving us forward. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, it did. It did so well. Thanks, you, Regina. So
Yes.
the incubator Nest Hub will actually be partnering with Regina to actually bring in a masterclass in Kenya. So look out for the dates. We'll be posting them on our
Yes.
Facebook
Thank you.
pages, LinkedIn pages, Twitter pages at Incubator Nest Hub. So look, it's going to be a very small, closed group. So the earlier you register, the better. So we'll be able to communicate for you to you as much as possible.
Yes.
So this week
Thank
also,
you.
next week, you're welcome, Regina. Next week we'll also be having a spotlight looking at a business, a lady who is running a business in Malawi, just telling us how it's done. And the reason why we do these things at the Incubator Nest Hub is to show you the possibilities of what you can do. We want you to be the best version, create the next big business coming from Kenya or Africa. That is it. And we have a lot of support, as you've seen. We have a lot of collaborators. We have a lot of people driving you to make sure that you are the best. So join in also next week to do that. Then the other week we'll be having yes,
I just
tell
want
me.
to I just want to say one thing. I
Yes.
just want to give a shout out to two of the mentors in my life. One of them, Tanya. Uh, yes, I want to give a big shout out to Tanya as well as to Sherry. They are two mentors in my life. So that's
Yeah.
Tanya McNeil and
Yeah.
Sherry Henderson. Uh,
Yeah.
and I just thank Tanya for introducing us, Ivy.
I know, right? Now, Tanya has been,
Yes,
I have met so many people through Tanya. That's a leader right there. Never shy to give information, never shy to introduce you to anyone, and have learned so much from that. And I think when I met her, I had not started the Incubator Nest Hub. And immediately I landed in Kenya, we've met. I began and I told her, this is it. I met women doing things. And I said, you know what? I can also do it from here. And she has given me immense information, a lot of information that I've been able to use to support the women here and also collaborate with some of the women. So it's amazing that
it
connection has
is.
been. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So, Regina, what is your parting shot? What would you say is your parting shot for today?
Yeah. Oh, yes. First, my parting words are you are amazing.
Oh,
The fact that you started your business in 2020 is amazing to see what you're doing and what we have talked about.
yeah,
I am so blessed to have met you, Ivy. And
yes.
I'm hoping that this partnership we building, that I can grow and learn so much from you. You have such a heart for the people of God. So I bless you.
Thank
The
you.
parting words is that open up our hearts, avail ourselves to learn and draw from one another,
Mm.
and the water would never run dry.
Wow, wow. Amazing. That's a whole sermon right there, Regina.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
would be a whole discussion, 1 hour. That is so true. The water is
Yes.
too much. It can never run dry.
It
It
could
can
never
never run
run dry.
dry.
And I thank
Absolutely.
everyone for being here this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Regina. I have
Thank
learned
you.
so much. I still have to look at this thing again, write notes. I'll be putting up a lot of this on our notes, on our pages. So this is amazing.
Yes.
Thank you for taking your time. I know it's so early, but you took your time to wake up and just do this. So it's amazing.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. So I look forward to the masterclass because this is where we're going to break it down so well and all
Yes.
of us come to just learn and sit at your feet. Thank you to everyone who's
Thank
attended.
you.
I
Thank
really, really
you.
appreciate you. Thank you for coming in, everyone from Kenya, all over the world. I really appreciate you. Please, if you know our women, any woman leader or anyone, share with them because this is very important. We hardly
Yes.
hear these things. We pay so much to get into such, things, but here it is. Regina has given us for free. Please share with them because if
Yes.
you are liberated from pain, you're able to come up with your purpose and your destiny is for sure. And God will help us. So God will help us. Always God is with us.
Yes. Yes. I
Yeah.
love that. Yes.
Thank you so much. God bless
Thank
you
you.
and see you to everyone. Regina, don't leave, but thank you to
Okay.
everyone. Have an amazing
Thank you.
afternoon and morning. Bye.
Bye.